This is the Cats and Pudding Podcast. A melting pot of pudding. And now, here's Jen.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Cats and Pudding, and I'm Jennifer Dilandro. And today, I have a great guest, my friend, Silvio D'Onofrio, and he is a comedian slash businessman slash family man. And he is an all-around great guy. I love him. I know you for quite some time now.
Yep.
And we've now reacquainted, and I haven't seen you in a couple of years.
Yeah, probably like 3 years almost.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have you on my show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm happy you're here. Tell me what's going on in your life, and tell me how you started this whole new venture, being a comedian.
Yeah, so I've been good since I last saw you. Now I got 3 kids.
Wow,
so,
you've been
yeah,
busy.
I'm like it's like the fucking Brady Bunch at my house.
Well, half the Brady Bunch. Not
Half,
yet.
you're right. I need Alice's side now to contribute to me. But I got a son and 2 daughters, and basically the way all this like posting on Instagram and like getting into comedy started is I was doing like some comedy in like 2019 before my son was born, and I guess I hit my peak. I did a show at Gotham, and like Jerry Seinfeld showed up. Wow. And so he went, and then they pushed me to go after him. So it was like, wow, this is the worst situation possible. And everyone was like, yeah. And then when I went up, it was like, oh, God, why is someone else here now?
I don't think Jerry Seinfeld is a very funny stand-up comic. I do not think he's funny in that way.
Me personally,
I'm sorry.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
Is he a genius? Was his show genius?
Oh, yeah. Or is Larry David a genius?
Well,
is a real
Larry
question.
David is the genius.
Yeah.
I think Larry David is hilarious.
Oh, he's great.
He's so funny.
He's great.
But Jerry Seinfeld is not, I don't think he's that funny of a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, me personally, I'm not a fan. Actually, the whole set he did, he talked about raisins. And the woman on the raisins box, like how she shows cleavage, that's why they sell it. And everyone was dying, and I was like, oh, this is rough for me.
Yeah.
Like, I tell different kind of jokes. And it was good. And then I had my son, and my wife is like, look, take a break. You need to get, like, focus on your job. And that was that. And then a friend of mine from the barber shop, always posting videos on Instagram. And they're funny, and I've given him, like, a ton of ideas. And he started doing stand-up, quit his job, just off of, like, his popularity from Instagram. And what really got me going is I'm a big, like, grudge-ish kind of guy. And I commented on one of his videos that, like, I gave him an idea, like, oh, this is so funny. And he was like, he comments on everyone's thing back, and he DM'd me, it's about execution. And I got so mad. And I'm like, oh, he's going to learn. I was like, I'm going to post videos and start doing stand-up. And that's, like, how it happened. Yeah, I guess.
So is mainly based on like Italian heritage and our heritage. So
so I started doing videos about my wife and me. Like, I'd put a wig on, and people were laughing, and then
I love that.
The whole like, I'm an injector, I'm Italian thing, like, trend was going on, and I did I'm an Italian, and it kind of blew up.
Right.
Like, it just, I think like right away it hit like 200,000-300,000 views, and I'm like, oh wow, I gotta like run with this Italian thing. Like, I have so much like
content
things, that I could think of. And I started doing that, and then what got really popular is I would do like a tracksuit Tuesday, every Tuesday.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you got one on, you got the
I got one on.
zucchini.
I got to stay on brand.
You got to stay on. Is this an old school?
No, so it's part of their new collection, but it's like,
so funny that they came back out with it.
It's a throwback
It's
of
a
like
throwback.
their old windbreakers. So it was between.
Oh, I know. I had them all.
Yeah.
I had about 20.
They're
20
classics.
sets. I have them. It's so funny. I just moved out of my house. I found
You should have wore one today.
You know what? I should have worn one. I
should have texted
one.
Jeff earlier.
I had one. It was all purple with green trim down the side,
Okay.
like a lime. I
like it.
Yeah, it was hysterical. We used to wear travel fox.
I don't even know that. I'll be honest.
That's how old I am. So
all right.
The Dex, you should have worn Dex, because we wore Dex with it, or Travel Fox.
Okay.
With the
so
search
you know what's funny? I just got them recently.
I'll send you a picture of me when I was a kid. I'll send you a picture of all of us when we used to all have our tracksuits on.
That's the way to go. I actually have a pair of Fila's that I was going to wear.
Oh, my God.
But they're all white, and they're, like, brand new. I don't really wear them, and I'm like, I don't want to wear them in the rain. Let me put on a pair of Nikes.
That's such an Italian thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin them.
I was just talking. It's so funny. Do you know number one Guido?
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but I follow him.
He's hysterical.
Look, he wears an Adidas tracksuit. That's not my bag, but I respect it.
Well, you got the Sergio. He's got the Adidas.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that. And I said, it's funny because even if there's a little scuff mark on a white pair of sneakers, you want to basically throw them away.
They automatically become lawn shoes.
They become garbage. That's it.
I'll mow
right?
the lawn with them at that point.
Right, that's it. You know, if I get a little speck on like the white part of like the rubber of my sneaker, but now you know what really cleans them? The magic eraser. So
that's the greatest invention ever made.
That cleans everything.
It's the best.
It's the best invention ever. I said, you want to get something out? Magic eraser. You want to get something off the floor? Magic eraser. You want to get something off your sneaker? Magic eraser.
That thing is like the best.
I should have them sponsor me, magic erasers. So please, I would love to have them sponsor me.
Give them a shout out.
I'm trying.
They'll do it.
I just gave you a big shout out, Mr. Clean Magic Erasers.
Yeah,
they're the best.
They clean everything.
They're so good.
But yeah, like I started doing the tracksuit stuff and it started blowing up. And I mean, a lot of it is like, look, some people love it. I'll be honest. They're like, oh, this is great. I get some people like, you don't know anything about Italian. You're not Italian. And I'm like,
what part of Italy is your family from?
So my grandma is from Calabria.
Okay.
And then my grandpa lived in Olivando, which is like 40 minutes outside of Rome, up north. He's in the mountains.
Well, we know the Romans think it's still the center of the earth.
Exactly.
Yeah, they think they're still like at Caesar's time.
And even my grandpa thinks, I mean, my grandma passed away, but he always used to say, your grandma, they're Southerners, they're crooks. I'm like, all right.
Yep, it's so funny.
People don't realize like the North and South there. They don't,
like, listen, when I was in Italy, I've been to Italy a few times, but I was in Rome one year and I went to a gelato shop, and the guy was asking me where part of Italy it was from. I said, Sicilia and Naples. He's like, the Scraziato. Because I said I was from Sicily too, and I'm like, dude, you're serving me ice cream with a little hat on, and I'm wearing a Rolex. You're talking about me like I'm the Scraziato.
They get real
oh my
nasty.
God, I can't. No, but because Sicilians were the slaves of Italy.
Back in the day
they were. That's where all the kings and queens went to for vacation, and we were invaded so many times. That's why the northern Italians are lighter than we are. That's why we're darker.
Yeah.
I mean, I did my 23andMe. I have Turkish. I have Egyptian.
I have everything.
I have everything. I am a melting pot. I'm like maybe 60% Italian.
All right.
Yeah. Everything else is just
I won't
Eastern.
do 23andMe.
Well, you know what? That's how people get caught, by the way.
Exactly.
Serial killers.
That's how you get caught in crime.
Yes, in crimes.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people have gotten caught. I swear. Yeah, with the 23.
Yeah, they say you can't use it. So my friend's a lawyer, and he's like, "Don't ever do it." He's like, because it's the DNA stays there. Not that I'm going to be this giant crook. I'd be more of a white collar crook, if anything. Yeah. But I don't need my DNA. It won't be something
where you're going to leave you. I don't need well, I did it already, so I guess I can't commit any crimes.
You're screwed.
I'm totally
don't
screwed.
do anything.
Yeah, I can't do any. I can't kill anybody. Yeah, so I guess you're safe right now, so I can't kill you.
But I didn't. But it's been good. So like people will attack me, and I go back. That's my favorite part. A lot of people, truthfully, say I'm Puerto Rican. They're like, you're not even Italian. I'm like, all right.
First of all, you look so Italian.
They say I look so stereotypical Italian that I'm not Italian.
Whoa.
It's one of those things. Like, I hear one guy was like, where were you born? And I'm like, Queens. And he's like, well, where do you live? I'm like, well, I lived in like Ozone Park, and he's like, give me an area. I'm like 86 in Sutter. That's a lie. I'm like, okay,
that's a lie.
I'm like, no problem.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of hate for it, so it gets rough.
But people love Italians. You have to.
Oh no, they love Italians.
I know they want to emulate us so bad. It's so funny. I love it. It's funny because every time I went, my cousins lived in California, so you got a picture. My whole family from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, picked up and went and moved into Modesto, California, and moved to a cattle ranch. This was years. This was like 100 years ago. So when I used to go there and I used to visit my cousins, all they wanted to hear me say was motherfucker and talk.
I like that.
They wanted to hear my accent. And just the other day, I was on the phone with one of my clients from Georgia on the show 90 Day Fiancé, and he was just mesmerized. He goes, I just love your accent. He goes, could you just keep please talking? I said, it's so funny because you would think you want to hear a French accent, you want to hear an English.
New York's the best.
But our accent is dying. Our accent
really is.
It is because everything's getting so gentrified. I was just talking about this to somebody the other day. Even my kids, you could see it in my kids because I have a 19-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 32-year-old. My 32-year-old talks like me.
Yeah.
My middle one, her speech is a lot more proper.
Yeah.
It comes out, her Brooklyn comes out. And my 19-year-old too speaks so properly, like she has like the little Brooklyn swag, but it's still, she speaks so much more clearer. Like, so it's like, it's sad that our accent is dying.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. My kids are doomed. I hate to say it. They're doomed. Because I'm out in Long Island now. So, like,
God.
you know, every like Italian family, it's like if you're born in like Brooklyn, you move to Staten Island.
Right.
If you're born in Queens, you go to Long Island. It's just
Yep.
like, and Bronx is up in Westchester.
Yep.
And
Yes.
my kids are like,
Or Connecticut, there you go.
yeah, my kids are just Long Island kids, you know, that's it. Like, my
It
wife.
is different to live
It is.
in Queens and Brooklyn than it is to live in the
totally
boroughs and to
different.
live out
It's
in the island.
completely different.
It's completely even Staten Island is sheltered, I feel.
I think Staten Island is.
It's just a weird place,
It
right?
is.
It's just so it's an odd borough.
And I didn't realize how big it was.
It's huge.
So I had only been there before I like started working there. I'd only been there once, and it was just to drive through. And now I'm like, I didn't even realize how big it is.
It's huge,
It's
but
gigantic.
it's set up so weird.
It is set
right?
up, like,
it's
extremely
it's like
weird.
strange.
Yeah.
It's like the forgotten borough. You know, it really is.
There's nice houses there, but I would never live there in my life.
I would never
There'd
live
be
there.
no chance.
Sorry, my Staten Island friends.
You
I
can't
would
even
never
swim
live
there. The water's
No.
like it's like swimming in the Hudson.
It's
the
disgusting.
same thing.
No, but you know what's that was originally a garbage dump there.
I could see that.
Yeah, it was. But listen, I think that living in the boroughs, right? Don't you agree that it's different than living?
Oh, it's totally different. I also think you grow up a lot quicker.
You do, and
Because like
and
you got to
you're
deal with
closer
a
to-
lot of more stuff.
Yes, but you are closer to people. I noticed that too, right?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I live next to a park.
And because in Long Island you got to drive everywhere to
Yeah,
to bring,
you have to have
you
a
can't
car.
go hang out with your friends
No,
unless they
no,
live
no,
on the
no,
same
no.
block, or the parents have to drop you off
Exactly.
to hang out. We used to just walk everywhere.
Yeah.
We would meet up at the park. We'd meet up at the schoolyard,
Yeah,
whatever it was. And that now it's not like that in Long
In Long Island,
Island,
it's definitely
or in
not
Jersey
like
is
that.
even worse.
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like when I was a kid, we used to walk. My cousins lived close, and even when I moved in Long Island, I mean, I had a little knit of friends like on my block. But anytime I wanted to go, it was like I had to tell my mom like, "Hey, could you drive me to like Joe's house or Ricky's?" And it was like 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So and it's like, and back then my mom would drop me off. Now like my kids are young, and it's like the parents want to stay at your house.
Right.
And it's like, get the fuck out of here.
Out of here, right?
I hate it. I'm
like, dude, just leave your kid here. I don't want to hang out with you. I was never that mother.
That's the worst part about having kids in my eyes.
No. Now it's even worse for you.
It's worse
for
now.
Today, they have the helicopter moms and dads. It's like even the dads want to hang out now.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I was lucky if my parents like walked me to school when I was a kid. My father never. I think he went up to my school maybe twice in my whole entire
I will say
years.
I do take my kids. I take my kids to school. So I live right next to the elementary school.
Well, I
walk my son.
Have to.
But I remember like when I was a kid, like my dad never came up.
Never.
To school. It's like he was working. My mom
and now
would come
you're
up.
branded as a bad.
Oh, if you don't go, you're
there.
bad.
You're like,
there's times I don't pick up my son, and like I'll pick him up a week later, and the teacher's like, "Where have you been?" And I'm like, "Guy, I got a job. Like I can't just like
get shamed by the teacher.
I can't pick up my son at 1:00 every day. It's like
I have a job, lady.
yeah, it's like I got to make some money here. It's like they think it's just everything's free.
They shame you. It's so
bad.
funny.
It's bad. It's
I was
really
watching. Speaking about comedians, but Sebastian, he was talking about how he was shamed by when he's dropping his son off at school, and they're like, "Are you gonna stay?"
It's nuts.
No, I'll be back at.
Yeah. I'll be back when I got
right when I'm
up.
supposed to. Why do I have to stay now?
Yeah.
So it's like they want you so involved, but I also feel like they want you involved, but yet on the big things they don't want you involved. You have no say.
No, they just want you to be there at your beck and call. But like when they want to do their thing and push their stuff, it's like get out of here.
No, right, exactly. Go away. You have no say, but yet you want me to there when you need me.
They want our tax dollars and want us to be at the call.
There you go.
That's pretty much it.
That's all they want from us. That's it.
Definitely.
And they want to push their agendas across.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That without a doubt.
And we're not allowed to know what they're pushing.
Well, that's true. I'm not at that stage yet. My son's only in kindergarten next year.
Well, I don't have any kids that school age, and I know if it happens to my grandchildren, I know
I'll be fired up.
I'll probably be in jail if that happens. Yes, I would definitely. You're going to see me on the 5:00 news.
Oh God,
that's what will happen. Yeah, seriously, that's 100% will happen. You'll see, you'll see me get walked out in handcuffs.
Oh God,
for sure.
At least you know you stand for something.
Well, you know what it is. I stand for common sense.
Yeah.
I don't stand.
There's no common sense anymore. By the way,
no. Listen. I'm in the middle. I'm not gonna say I don't like to talk about politics to go in too deep with it, but I'm not. I think most people are in the middle, and I think that's where it should be. But the problem is that you have these people on one side that are so extreme.
Yeah, it's either like aggressive red, aggressive blue,
it's
no in between.
No, it's got to be in the middle because people do live in the
exactly.
center. That's it.
It like makes a lot of things hard. Like even like doing stand up, like.
Okay,
I feel like,
how can you even do stand up
yeah,
now? Because you
like,
offend everybody. Like
there's jokes I say that I feel like if I said them 10 years ago, people are like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And then some now that they're like,
listen, even look at the Farley Brothers movies. You can't even have Farley Brother movie now.
Look at White Chicks. If White Chicks came out now, my God.
But it's hilarious.
It is.
What about I have not seen a funny movie in
a decent amount of time. I'm trying to think of the funniest.
Wait, the last one I saw, actually, Ricky Stenicki was pretty funny.
Oh, that was actually really good with John Cena.
But that was a Farley Brothers movie.
I've never...
John Cena.
I mean, my wife will watch this,
funny.
But I've never related to something more. Like when that happened, I was like, Jesus, how have I not made up a friend that we could do all this?
So hysterical.
Oh, it was great.
It was great, and it was not woke, which I don't like. I don't like,
which was great.
I don't like all that pushing agendas and everything else.
Yeah.
It was really, really funny.
Yeah. No, it was a good movie.
That was the funniest.
That's probably the funniest movie I've seen in a long. It's funny you say that because I wouldn't have thought of it, but I saw it. Like maybe like 2-3 weeks ago on Amazon. And my wife was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. And we were watching it.
Well, I was belly laughing. I thought it was
that's
so
what I'm saying. I belly laughed.
I saw the picture of John Cena coming out with the freaking Indiana Jones hat. I was like, I got to watch this movie. And it was hilarious.
I was literally, I belly laughed so much.
But he was singing Britney Spears and he has the pigtails on in the skirt.
That was a good part. For me also, like when they decide to call him up after.
Yes.
Like I was belly laughing. My wife's like, this isn't funny. And I'm like, you can't relate to it. That's why.
So funny.
Actually, another good movie too that I just saw that I actually don't like her, but I was like, I don't think it's gonna be funny. It's with Jennifer Lawrence where they hire her as a girlfriend.
Yes, that was cute. I did belly laugh at that. That was cute.
That was the last belly laugh movie I
liked it.
But it was also really good. Those
it was cute
too.
But like you said, today those movies you would get canceled for those movies.
Oh, it's nuts.
Because, and how is the comedian supposed to be funny if you have to be able to laugh at yourself and make fun of yourself? You can't. You're not going to listen. You're going to always offend somebody.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend the rest of your life worrying who you're going to offend, you know what? Go in the corner and go get a hug. I don't know what else to tell you.
There's almost
people got to stop.
Like I say, like there's
wear a helmet and go. I mean,
they'll
seriously.
still get hurt somehow.
I mean, stop. I mean, these people. It's like it's crazy.
Everything offends them. It's like.
But they're offended for other people, and they shouldn't be.
Well, that's like the big issue. Like
you don't have to be offended for me.
Exactly.
I'll be offended on my own if I want to be offended. I don't need you to get offended for me.
Like there's people I feel like who come to comedy clubs and like just go there to
just to be offended,
to boo and. I said a joke.
But see how sick some people are?
It is.
That's how it is. That's how little they have to do in life that they need to do that.
Like you're gonna pay $30 and get 2 drinks or 2 items just to
heckle somebody.
To heckle somebody, and then they don't. If you start heckling them back,
they get upset.
Oh, it's even worse.
Oh, they love to dish it out, but they can't take it.
It's bad. I had a guy. I said a joke that's always like kind of worked for me. The guy in the front was like, "This is ridiculous," and I was like, "Whoa, somebody's offended." And I started asking him questions. I'm like, why are you offended? And then he said it, and I'm like, well, go fuck yourself. And like people laugh, but after the show, he's like, dude, that's so disrespectful. And I'm like, all right, guy, just
you're disrespectful to me, heckling me through my show.
I'm like, dude, you're right at front of the stage.
You're asking for it. So what do you want me to do? Just sit there and say, okay, I'm sorry that I offended you. Don't come to a comedy show and sit in the front row and heckle me, and then you won't get. How about don't put yourself in the situation?
Exactly.
Get out of the situation.
When I would go to comedy clubs to watch comedians, I'd be like, I hope they don't call.
I know. I used to.
That was my biggest fear. I'd be like,
God,
please don't be too noticeable because they're going to be like, look at this guy.
Yes. Oh my God.
They don't care.
Do you remember that? You're probably too young, but there was a comedy club in Sheepshead Bay called. Oh my God, I forgot what it was called. It was right on the strip in Sheepshead Bay, and it was small, but we used to go there a lot. Mm-hmm. And we always used to fight. I'm like, please don't get there late because it was funny.
They'll call you out
Nobody wanted
then.
to sit in the front because they knew they were going to get destroyed if they sat in the front. So if you got there late, always the front seats were the ones that were empty.
Because no one wants to sit there.
Nobody, because they know that if you're there, you're going to get destroyed.
Gonna get ripped.
You're going to get disrupted. So I'm like, no. But that's when the comedians was so
That's when they were great,
funny.
truthfully.
And they would go and beg for somebody to say something in the front. You know, and they would pick you right out. They would see something.
It sucks that it's not like that because I feel like that's like where
but
I'm like
these kids,
funniest.
because that's the problem. That's why these kids are so soft these days.
Yeah.
My kids will never be like that, and my grandchildren will never be like that.
I won't.
They're going to be tough.
I
will not let them be like that because you have to have thick skin. You cannot get upset over everything and get offended over everything.
Oh no, definitely.
Life is rough. Get a helmet. That's it.
It does get rough.
You know,
it's like,
that's all.
It's like there's this like comedian Shane Gillis, and he says like it's funny too because people will make fun of like a lot of people and people will get offended, but like Italians are the last like nationality where everyone can make fun of, and like
and
no one says anything.
But I was just saying that I don't know if you saw Catherine Narducci.
Yeah.
We said that we were talking about. They were like, it's so.
It's like
funny.
they have tough skin. You're okay.
Right. It's okay if they make fun of us. If everybody's fine, and if we say something back, but we should be able to say something.
Oh
back.
yeah.
Because what you only equate us to what the mafia.
Exactly.
Sauce, tomato sauce, and black dresses with buns.
I did hear she said gravy on there, which to me is a big no-no.
We have to. Well, she's gonna be coming on now as my co-host now, which is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
so
I heard her. I remember when I was listening, she was like, "Yeah," and then making gravy, and in my head, I was like, "This."
What do you call it? You call it sauce.
I call it sauce.
I call it sauce.
I'm a sauce guy.
I'm a sauce girl too.
So,
I never called it gravy. I don't know.
I never did. It's just one day.
I don't know where that ever came from because I don't think I've ever held.
It's a big Philly thing.
Yeah, I think
they
that's
call
what
it
it
sauce.
is. Well,
but when people call it gravy, I'm always
I'm like gravy. I think of
what are you
brown.
talking about?
I think of something brown.
That's what I
when
think.
I say
Gravy's
gravy.
brown to me.
Gravy's brown. Sauce is red.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what sauce. If you say sauce to me, I'm equating it to red sauce.
I don't care.
That's it. Because I'm
even
Italian.
if it's Alfredo sauce. It's
sauce.
In my head. I'm like, nah, it's sauce.
Right, it's sauce.
It's still sauce.
Everything's sauce. That's all we have to equate it to.
Gravy's no good.
No, gravy's brown. That's just
brown.
It's brown. It's totally brown. It's brown and mushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
And it only goes on mashed potatoes.
Or
or chicken fried steak.
Yeah, that's
chicken
it.
fried steak.
Something American. Not something Italian.
Not Italian.
No
chance.
Sauce goes on Italian food.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. It is probably from Philly.
I'm telling you, it's definitely from Philly because
or even the South because there is a lot of Italians in the
that.
South. I mean, Emerald is from the South, so there was a lot of Italians in Louisiana and stuff like that. Yeah,
I always thought for some reason he was from like a big city.
Yeah,
maybe because he's like super Italian.
But it was a big city. It's a big
there.
city. He's from New Orleans. He's from New Orleans. It's a huge city. So I mean, but there was a lot of Italians that migrated to the South in the early before with the big migration after World War II. They came over and they went to the South. Which was one of the biggest, supposedly biggest hangings of Italians.
Oh yeah, that I know.
Yes, Sicilians.
That I know.
Yep,
and
that was the biggest.
It was actually Sicilian.
It was all Sicilian.
That gets overshadowed. People don't know
that. But we should bring that out.
I forgot.
Not that I want to talk about hangings, but yes, it was something that happened in history.
I forgot where I saw that. Because there's like a date when it happened recently.
Mass hanging that was
in the country.
In the country, in the South was Sicilians.
Yeah, no, that I do know.
Yep.
That I do know.
And everybody could look that up because that is true.
No, that's true. It just happened like the anniversry date, like maybe a month or a couple months ago because I just saw it.
Why don't we have a day for that? We should have our own day. They want to take Columbus Day from us.
Listen, I'm like a...
listen, I don't care what somebody did in the 1600s.
No,
you know what? That is something that we were proud that he was Italian and he came across the ocean and discovered America.
I mean, I'm a big... every Columbus Day, people get mad at me. Every Columbus Day, I literally post the same thing on my Instagram story. It's Tony Soprano saying, Columbus is an American hero in this house and no other way. That's like one of my favorite lines from The Sopranos ever. So I always post that. And people get on me and I'm like,
I don't care.
I'm like, if you want to get on me, just unfollow me.
Right, unfollow me. If you don't like it, I'm Italian. I'm proud of it.
Exactly.
That's it. That's on you.
Yeah.
We had our own trials and tribulations for us, for Italians,
What, you grew up in Howard Beach?
Howard Beach.
All right.
Well, Richmond Hill and then Howard Beach.
Oh, my grandma's Richmond Hill right now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, on 89th Ave and 104th.
Oh, that was close to. I lived on Park Lane South, across the street from Forest Park.
I know exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly where I live. Now that everybody knows where I live.
Here's a question. I'm gonna tracksuit Tuesday you in a way.
Okay.
What were like big words back then, like Italian-ish American words that you used to hear?
Mint.
Okay. I've never heard that.
Mint, like that would be like something that was.
That's mint. That's great.
No, mint. It's like beautiful. It's hot.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be mint. We would say Bachagaloop.
Bachagaloop.
Yeah.
So it's funny you say that. I was gonna use because I always write the words out what I'm gonna use. Bachagaloop's on there for like next week. Because like I said it to my friend. He's like, I haven't heard that in years. I'm like, dude, it's a classic.
It's a classic.
That's a classic.
Forget about it, of course.
Yeah, that's always a classic.
How you doing?
What about anybody use Jamoke back then?
Oh, a mook. Just mook. Mook? A mook.
That was a big one. My dad used to use a lot.
This Bachagaloop is a good one. A mook. What else did we say?
For the longest time, I didn't know what it meant, but my grandma, every time she used to yell at us, be like, Jesu Mary, you bastard. I never knew it was Jesus and Mary. But like they used to say it nonstop, and I was like, oh God, that's like real bad. But like I never knew that. Muskina. That was a big one for us growing up. I'm trying to think of what else. I can't think of any right off the top of my head now.
There was a lot of
like a Strones is another one, but I just didn't know if they had different ones back then that I didn't.
We had some different ones. What else did we do? I mean, I like right now you're putting me on the spot.
Well, that's the thing. I just started thinking of them. Like I can't even think of all the ones I had.
You know what? That's a good thing. I'm gonna get back to you on that too. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram today. I'm gonna say what did we used to say when we were younger?
Yeah.
Give me any
like
phrases,
an Italian
reference or phrase. What did we used to say that we don't use anymore?
Even like I didn't even realize this. My grandma always used to say it, and I said it the other day. Like scotch.
Scotch and men's.
Yeah, that was like that was another huge one. Oh, that was a big one too.
Biting your hands.
Biting your hand. My grandma loved that. She'd be like, I'm gonna kick.
I would never have to talk. I never ever hit my children.
Oh,
but if I went like this, I got hit. Like I got hit, and I deserved to get hit. I was a bad kid. I was like this, and my kids would run because they know that if I was biting my hands, that I was ready. I was gonna. That they were in trouble.
Yeah, no, that. My grandma used to, if she did that, we knew we were done. And then if she did, if the wooden spoon came out, it was like, we would run. I tried
All my mother would have to do was open the drawer.
Yeah, and you know.
I knew, yeah.
You would know. That would, like, a spoon would strike fear into my eyes when I was younger.
And now these kids today
I do it to my son, and he looks at it like, what are you doing?
Because they know you're not going to hit them. Because they know that they could call social services on you.
My kids are like, I had a situation the other day with my son where I went to school to pick him up. I've had like a lot of bad situations with not bad, but I picked up my son and the teacher's like, hey, Mr. D'Onofrio, we really have to talk to you. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, Luciano had said that you're living in a crack house. And I'm like, and I just looked at the teacher and I'm like, lady, I drive an Escalade. Like, what crack house? And then like I started thinking.
Was he watching something?
No, the other day, my wife, because we had a crack in our foundation, so we had to get it fixed. And my wife's like, I don't want this crack like in the house anymore. He just went to school and was like, oh, we live in a crack house.
You gotta listen. You gotta watch what you say in front of these kids.
The craziest things. Well, this is like an awkward story, and I kind of like made it into a joke on my stand-up set. But my son says like all this like random stuff that he hears, and like one day he was hysterically screaming at like 5 a.m. He's like, Daddy, please. So I walk in his room and I'm like, Luciano, what's the matter? And he's like, I'm turning into a skeleton. And I'm like, you're not. And he's like, I am. And I'm like, stop. Go to bed. And he just goes, look. And he whips his pants down. He's like, there's a bone in my pissy. And I'm like, I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, all right, let's go to the bathroom.
How old is he?
He was 4 at this time. So we go to school. And like, look, he's in pre-K. So the teacher's like, how was your night? First thing this little prick says is, oh, I was turning into a skeleton. There was a bone in my pissy. Daddy brought me in the bathroom and showed me how to make it go away. And I'm like, I didn't even know what to say.
Just slap the cuffs on me right now.
I just looked at the teacher and I was like, what? She looked at me like me and Stephen Hawkins have been playing on Epstein's Island for like 10 years. And I'm like,
well, now on P. Diddy's Island now.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is so bad. And like, I email right after, like, Mr. D'Onofrio, we can't have you on the school, like, within 200 yards. I'm like, I've literally become a pedophile in, like, a matter of 5 seconds. And it's just, like, little things like that.
Kids say the darndest things.
Yeah. And
that happened to me, too, with my daughter. Long story short, she got hit above the eye.
Yeah.
And it was because I was on the floor of the closet and she was standing behind me and she kept like jumping on me. I'm like, Victoria, come on, get off. And then I kind of just went, Victoria, get off. I said, get off my foot. And I went like this and she went flying. And it was just because she tripped over her foot and she hit her head. And it was a little thing.
Cut. But it's always more noticeable.
It gushes out of the head.
Yeah.
So I brought it to the urgent care, and they were like, "Yeah, mommy kicked me," and I'm like, "That's how I got it." I'm like, "Oh shit!" I said, "Just slap the cuffs."
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
I didn't hit her. She was jumping on me. I didn't mean to push her like that. I just like Victoria moved. She tripped over her own foot.
It's like some stuff that the first time I picked up my daughter from like pre-K, it's like one of the first times the teacher literally was like, "Oh, she said that like daddy like hits her," and I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, honestly, she told me yesterday that you punched her in school, so like I don't believe. I had to like deflect because I'm like, she's gonna think like the next day I went in, I'm like, I told my wife, when you drop her off, tell her that she said the teacher slapped her. She's like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm like, just say it so she makes something up for us. We don't look bad. I'm like, because like she gotta know she's a liar.
Really?
I'm like, come on. Because next thing I know, I'll have like CPS at my door, like, hey, listen, I gotta take these kids, and I'm like, I can't do this.
In the school's defense, they have to.
No, I understand.
Because God forbid something is true.
Oh yeah, they got to check it out.
And if they don't report it, they will get in so much trouble.
No,
because
exactly.
sometimes things are true, and you do, for the most part, a lot of my friends are teachers too. They're like, listen, most of the time we know kids, they
just say stuff.
They say stuff, but sometimes you still have to say something because if something does happen and we don't act on it,
it's like they're almost liable.
They're liable. No, they are liable.
Yeah.
They're 100% liable. Like they could get in a lot of trouble. So they do. So, but yeah, I know it is. But it's like you get that look and you feel so you get that.
You almost it makes you feel like you're guilty and you're not.
You almost feel guilty like you did do it, but even though you did it, you're like, oh my God. I wonder how are these people looking at me? I know. It's
I know
bad.
what you're saying. It's rough.
And you said you have 3 kids, and how old are they?
3 kids. So my son Luciano's 5, Sienna is 3, and then I have a young daughter, Capri. She just turned 1.
Oh, what beautiful names.
Yeah, all Italian names.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I want if anything happens, they think we were in the mob or super Italian. That's how I go with it. I'm like, I want them to look like they came right off the boat. So yeah.
They're beautiful children.
Thank
good
you.
For you.
Yeah.
And you have you have a nice little family going.
I do got a nice family.
Love that. And your wife is good with you to doing the whole comedy thing? She supports it?
She supports it until like...
Does she like think you're a moron? She's like, oh, because when you stop this, you're moron.
Sometimes she does. Like, she always like pushes like, I want you to do good. And like, I got a residency at this club, so I do like 9 shows a month. And she's like, now you're not going to be here? And I'm like, oh my God.
You can't win.
I'm like, cut me a break. Come on. So she gets like a little aggravated at stuff like that. But it's part of the game. I tell her, when I'm making all this money, you ain't going to complain when you're sitting at home.
She won't complain then.
Exactly.
But she still might complain then.
Oh, no, she'll still complain. She'll still complain.
We have to complain, especially Italian women. We love to complain.
My wife's not even full Italian.
Oh, God.
She's a half-breed.
She was full.
She's a half-breed.
No, oh, God.
Yeah.
Full Italian women, that's their life
they
to
love
complain.
doing that.
The guilt and the complaints. Yep. That's on our resume.
She does the guilt for me. She's big on the guilt, the complaining.
The guilt is big for Italian women.
She's up there, too. But
yep. At least she's only half. Thank God.
Yeah, she's only half, so it's good.
Well, I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to hear about your next adventures. And I love to have you back on the show.
No, definitely.
And in a few months, and you could tell us how everything's progressing. And I love for you to tell everybody where they could find you.
Sure.
Your upcoming shows, and if they need to contact you for if they have any opportunities.
I love it.
Contact you.
My Instagram is thatdad_Sil. On everything, pretty much. That's really all I post on, to be completely honest, though. I have a show on Friday at Greenwich Comedy Club, and then I'm at Broadway Comedy Club, usually every other weekend, 7, 9, and 11 shows. And, I post everything on Instagram when I'm going to be around.
I want to come to one of your shows. You better send me a
Come.
ticket.
I can get you tickets.
All right. I hope you
I
can.
almost have that kind of pull.
You got a guy.
I'm the guy.
You're the guy.
I'm the actual guy.
So you're the actual guy.
I'm the actual guy who could get him.
That's Italians always have. They always have a guy.
Well, I got a guy for everything.
Right? Don't I always say I got a guy? I always have a guy. Call
guy.
Jen. She's got a guy. I always have a guy.
You got it. And then if anyone wants to do a funny video with me, you could DM me.
I think we should do a funny DM video.
Let me know.
I'm going to DM. I don't have to DM you because you're my guy.
But that's it. I'm pretty easy to get in touch with.
Well, it was so nice to have you, Silvio. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope you're going to come back again.
No, definitely.
And everyone, please subscribe to me on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button. You could find this on Spotify and on Apple. Watch the whole video, not just the shorts, because the shorts I'm getting so many hits on. But watch the whole videos. They're excellent episodes. Stay tuned for our next episode of Cats and Pudding. And I'm Jennifer Dilandro, guys. Have a great day.